Hi, my name's Eric,
My name's Austin.
and we are going to teach you today how to airbrush a door to make it look just kick butt. Wah! Every day we're going to post up something a little bit different, and today it is a door. We're going to show you how to paint this step by step. It's going to be different than anybody else's you've seen before, and we're going to walk you through it just a little bit.
Here's the start.
Here's the start of our door, and these are some templates that we created. A little bit of creativity, just easy, simple stencils, and we're going to make this look like a three-dimensional metal hinge. Don't go real fast like that, go really slow. And then we're also going to make it look like this is a big, huge metal plate here. These are some of our supplies that pretty simple, easy stuff. A pair of scissors, have other tools, an X-Acto knife, some masking tape, and some thin cardboard stencil material. We use, it's like cereal box material, pop can case. You can use anything like that for a stencil. Works out really nice. And this door right here, we also, it was originally painted white. We painted it silver, and then we took some 220 grit paper on a longboard sander and sanded this so it makes it, it'll give it a really neat appearance of streakiness to it. If anybody ever needs the sanders, AFS sanders, they're the greatest thing in the world. A friend of mine right over here in St. Paul Park makes these, and they're just fantastic. So get a hold of me if you would like any more information on them. And we are taking you to another one of our workstations here. This is a simple little piece of polystyrene we used from a scrap construction project. And we are right now making a rivet template for the door. And here's a couple more of our tools here that we use. Would be a compass, very handy tool for setting radiuses. This is a dial caliper. You might be asking, why would you use a dial caliper for laying out paint? It works out really handy for laying out rivet center lines. So you'll get a rivet center line of say 2.062. It's really easy to set and make an accurate layout for rivets. So that's why we use that. They're pretty cheap. You can buy a cheap one for about 20 bucks. Mechanical pencils. We use these a lot with erasers because we like to erase a lot of things. A razor knife. Very handy for cutting long lines on cardboard.
Don't let your kids use it.
Also, just a simple, we use this as a tri-square, T-square for cutting sheetrock. We just use that for a long straight edge and very nice numbers, easy to read for doing rough layout stuff. So now, and then a tri-square, scissors, and we are going to keep going, cutting this stuff out, and we'll be back with you shortly. We just got done putting the rivet hole stencil in, and this is going to be really hard to see with a camera here. We are going to show you that when you cut and punch these holes out, you get little tiny fuzzies, and those fuzzies will transfer into the rivets and make it look really bad up close. So what we do is take a little propane torch or a lighter or any type of flame like that, and we just brush it across the holes real slowly, and that actually burns all the little fuzzies off of there. And quick little tip for making your stencils a little bit cleaner and sharper. If you cut them out with a razor knife and your razor knife becomes a little bit dull, that will do the same thing, and this is a simple, easy trick that you can clean your stencils up a little bit easier. Stay tuned.
We're starting the countdown process to paint.
Okay, now what we're gonna do, we have made quite a few stencils to start out with, And what we're going to do now is take all the stencils off. We'll put these aside and we'll show you what to do to prep the door for paint. We had already taken and sanded this down with a 3M scuff pad, and when we sanded that down with a scuff pad, this just gives the surface a good surface to bond on. And this is what I'm talking about, a scuff pad. It's just a 3M Scotch-Brite pad. Pick it up at any automotive place. Mostly you can also pick a lot of this stuff you can pick up at your local home building supply stores. They have a lot of this stuff. You'd be surprised at what you can find there to make a project like this work. And then quick, I'll take just normally if we do a car or a motorcycle or something like that, we'd take a lot more quality paints and use them, but in this particular case we can do Rust-Oleum, and I always keep quite a bit of this on hand for little projects like this. You don't need to spend $1 million to make something look really cool. So what we did, our base color for the door is 2 parts silver with 1 part black. So it's a 2-to-1 mixture, and it's like a charcoal gray silver mix, and then we'll use a little bit of the silver and then a little bit of the black for highlighting. So basically with this door we're going to have only 2-3 different colors, and we'll show you what we can do with them. Here we're just going to show you a quick way you can, this is just mineral spirits, cheap solvent from a home building supply place. And what we're doing now is just, after we scuff this all up with a scuff pad, we're just wiping this surface down to get rid of any greasy fingerprints or wax that might have been on your hands when you touch the door. A lot of greasy fingerprints will wreck your paint job. So what you want to do is always wear gloves when you're working with solvents, and just wipe it down. Then after we wipe it all down, all we'll do is just take, for this particular job, we'll just take an air hose to it to blow off any dust that accumulates, and a lot of dust gets picked up on your rags. And notice this is normally wouldn't wipe in a high quality paint, wouldn't wipe some of the paint off with it. This is a Rust-Oleum product, so this wiping down kind of gives it a streaky effect, which works out awesome for giving kind of a special old rustic metal look to it. So now we're going to start, we're going to just give it a quick blow down, and then we will get on with the painting. And we are now starting to paint some rivets on. Here you can see our stencil that we used, our little punch piece of cardboard. We laid that out, and now to make a rivet look a little bit more 3D realistic looking is actually a simple thing. It's just a simple shading and shadowing. What we're gonna do,
You want to circle the rivet?
so what you want to do is kind of go around the rivet real lightly, and then take, after you go around it really lightly, you take and just make the bottom edge of the rivet just a little bit darker, just a darker shadow, but like this, right on the bottom of the rivet. Now when you take that cardboard off, it's going to look something like this. So that is just the first step, and this is just with black. That's all we're using right now, is just highly thinned out black. That's all we're using, and we'll come back and do some highlighting with silver and white. Stay tuned. Okay, here we're back again, and now we are just putting some shading on the rivets now. Easy, simple rivets now. What you just do is circle the outside real lightly, and then shadow a little bit darker on the bottom now. The darker is going to bring that shadow out to life. So now you have to keep in mind which way the bottom of the door is. The bottom is going to have more shadows than the top. The top is going to be a little bit brighter light. So now this is the first step, is the circling of that. The second step, we freehand a slight shadow on the bottom of the rivet like this. And now that is going to give it more of an appearance that is sticking up. And later we'll highlight the tops to give them a little bit more of a shine and a reflection. And also, here is what the first stage of the hinges looks like. And it's just simple, 5 simple rivets with a slight outline and a very slight shadow going, the lines going across the middle, and this gives it kind of the illusion of a metal plate shining in the light. Stay tuned, we'll keep you updated. We are about to start doing some highlighting and make things look a little bit more 3D. And I'm going to show you, we did kind of change my mind on how I wanted to do things, make it look a little bit more 3D looking. What we did is every one of the rivets now has got a shadow on the bottom side, and also a little touch, just a splash of silver to cover up some of the black overspray that gets in the center. And then there's also, we went along and put a shadow right along the bottom of this, along the bottom over here also, and made the hinges look a little bit more 3D. And now we went and made a stencil of an old-time lock, and this lock is a multi-piece stencil. There's a piece right here that we used to make it look a little bit more dimension-like. This is also, we cut 2 of these. This is just for the rivet layout and the keyhole. And then this is the outline to this. Then also this comes out. So this is what we really start with right here. We'll put a template on there like that and start shading, shadowing, and doing a little bit of highlighting. And this is actually, there's 2 colors on here right now, just the touches of silver, and the rest is just black. Now the chain links that are on there, we had those, I drew those up a while ago, and these were the leftovers from Austin's bicycle that we did. And what I did is I drew a link look of chain like that. I brought it to the sign making shop, and the sign making vinyl lettering place, they took and made us up some positive stencils. So all we're doing is sticking those on, and this will only work if the base coat underneath it is silver or somewhat close to the color of the chain that you want to use. Otherwise, this method will not work like this, and it's really, really time consuming and tedious to mask all that off to make it look a lot more dimension like. And I don't know if you can see this or not. See, we removed a couple of the links over here, and then there's the straight links are left in place right now. Now we're going to go every other link like that. You'll want a part that's masked off, another part that's not, to give it the illusion that the chains are interlocking each other and rolling and twisting around. And then before we remove those, we put a shadow, a dark bold shadow underneath it, underneath the links on both sides, and then a light shadow on the tops of it to make it look like, give it the illusion that it's sticking up above the door frame. So this is where we're at right now. The stencil that I did the chain links with is just a stencil that I ordered off of eBay, and there's quite a few different variations, but they all are made with connecting pieces in together like that. So when you use it, you can only use a little bit of it at a time. There's a lot of flipping and twisting and everything to get it to line up. And as you can see, here's a couple more of our stencils right here that we used for the door over here, and that's just the doorknob sticking through. And now we're going to stick the chain link above that plate. So now this will give it the illusion that there's a multiple depth change. Also, as long as we're right here, I'll show you. This is also what we did right here, is took a shadow and made this piece look like it's sticking up farther over the top of the door frame. Give it the look of another piece of steel riveted on there. And now what we did is laid out a pinstripe on the bottom here with 1/4 inch fine line tape, We're just going to use that for an edge guide, and to make that bottom piece, give it the illusion that there is another piece riveted onto the bottom also, to give it a little more depth, a little more dimension to it. And this is where we're at now. Stay tuned.